Wow, what a stat line Jokic is putting up so far in this 25-26 regular season. And while the rest of the NBA community has been focused on Luka's incredible scoring and heroics over in LA and Wembanyama's rise to the top 5 in the NBA questionably in San Antonio, I've been more focused on enjoying and watching as much of the best player alive as I can while he's still playing at his best. 30 years old, for a guy that plays with a high IQ style like Jokic, is probably going to be the peak of his career. Still got the legs, even though he don't use them with the running and jumping as much as other players. He's still got the legs behind him, and he's got that IQ peaked out, which is allowing him to average 11 assists a game as a center, leading the NBA in assists as a center. That's only been done a handful of times in NBA history. And the reason why he can shoot such a high percentage at 68.4%, even though he takes mid-rangers and threes, it's not all basket shots like other guys who shoot that high of a percentage, is because of his willingness to pass. He's got an IQ on the level of guys like Rajon Rondo and LeBron James. And then to pair with that, he has no ego. He's only looking for the open shot. He's only looking for the shot that he knows he can hit. He shoots contested shots, but it's when he knows the defender's not absolutely ready for him to shoot them. The defender always has to be ready for a pass when he's got the ball, and if they send help, you better pray because he's going to get somebody one of the easiest shots they've ever shot in their NBA career. You better pray they miss an easy shot. Jokic is absolutely incredible. Got the 6'11" height with him, so that way it lets him see the whole court better than what these short guys do. And Rondo has some of the highest basketball IQ I've ever seen, but I compare Jokic's passing level to his, and Jokic also comes with more gravity than Rondo, which means the defenders are going to guard him more heavily, which leaves players open, and he also has no ego, which is something that Rondo also didn't really have. But for a scorer like Jokic, you normally have some sort of I want to get mine. Jokic really doesn't have that. He wants the team to win. He plays team ball. But let's go ahead and get into the reason why I think that this regular season, if it keeps this current pace, could go down as the best regular season in NBA history, and why I think Jokic has some of the several top 10 regular seasons in history. All right, so if we look at these stats here, as I've already said, 29 points per game, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists, averaging a triple-double without even trying to. He's not, stat padding at all. He's just trying to win. That's the way Jokic plays. And then a 68.4 field goal percentage. We're going to talk about this for quite a while. You would think a guy with that high of a field goal percentage would be like a Tyson Chandler or a Rudy Gobert, who doesn't really shoot much, plays defense, and only shoots when it's a wide-open dunk. No, Jokic shoots mid-rangers. He shoots threes. He shoots around the basket with coverage. He does floaters. He does runners. And no NBA player can hit these floaters and runners at the rate Jokic does. They look easy. Like he'll score 6 baskets in a row. And if you have never watched basketball, you would be thinking, wow, that's easy. And even if you've played basketball at a high school level, you would be thinking that's easy. But then you see these other NBA players that miss these shots because the defense is at such a high level when they're trying in the NBA. And so many great NBA players can shoot 60% from those easy shots, but Jokic is hitting them almost every time. And he's shooting threes at a 42% clip this year and 86% from the free throw line. And let's go look a little bit in more depth to why this is so impressive. So far for this season, if it were to end right now, Jokic would have the highest true shooting percentage of all time. Now, he probably can't keep this rate up for the whole season, but let's just look at the other names on this list, and you'll see that all of them are either from this shortened season or they are guys that shoot around the basket that do not really take anything but layups and dunks. And then you also see Nikola Jokic down here at 17 for one of his other years, and that proves that he can do this for a full season, unlike Harrison Barnes and some of these other names, because he's done it before. You take out the 25-26 seasons, Jokic is already top 10 one of his seasons, around a bunch of guys who only take layups and dunks, and then Kyle Korver, who only shot threes, and threes are more efficient in terms of true shooting. It's really crazy that Jokic is holding up a 77% true shooting this year, while also averaging 29 points a game over 11 games. That's a lot of shots to hold up that high of a true shooting, and I'm really rooting for him to finish this season within the top 10 of this list, because if he does that, he's going to be the only one within that top 10 that actually averaged over 15 or 13 points a game even, and it's just going to be an incredible story and an incredible basketball to watch. I really urge you to just turn on the TV or at least go to YouTube and check the highlights of Jokic's highlights after every game, because it's really great what this guy's doing. All right, box plus minus is the next stat I want to look at, but before we get into looking at it, let me just go and look at exactly what it is in case anyone watching doesn't know. So what box plus minus is it's an advanced basketball statistic that estimates a player's contribution to their team's point differential per 100 possessions. That pretty much means that box plus minus is just a way for them to determine, based off statistics, how much a player's impacting in terms of defense and offense, which means they're looking at how good is the player that they're guarding shooting whenever they're guarding them. How good are their team performing when they're on the court? How many assists are they getting? How many rebounds are they helping their team get? How many blocks are they getting? How many points are they getting? And I'm going to stop that rant because that was a little bit too much of an explanation. Let's go look at these stats. So we look at these stats here, and you'll see even discounting this season where Jokic has an unsustainable 20 box plus minus, I could see him holding up a 15 or 16 if he stays hot all year. But even excluding that, Nikola Jokic is the first place, second place, fourth place, fifth place, and the eighth place player of all time, meaning he holds 5 spots within the top 10. And after this season, he should surely hold 6 spots out of the top 10, kicking Steph Curry's season, his unanimous MVP season, out of the top 10 for box plus minus, and leaving Michael Jordan as the only player that is 2 times within the top 10. You would have 6 Jokic's, 2 Jordans, 1 Shea Alexander, and 1 LeBron. Now, is the faster-paced NBA helping Jokic? Yes, but LeBron James also played in a faster-paced NBA. Box plus minus is a really telling stat. It's not an end-all, be-all by any means. You have to win the championship, and you have to lead your team to a better performance than they would have without you. But in terms of box plus minus, Jokic is already the best box plus minus player of all time. If you were to look at this list, it would be impossible to conceive that any player, if this was the only thing you knew about basketball, it would be impossible to conceive that any player were better than one Nikola Jokic. All right, the video is about to wrap up, and you can probably tell I love Nikola Jokic, but if you love basketball, go ahead and hit subscribe on this channel. Just support a little tiny creator. No fee involved. Just hit the subscribe button. I don't post all the time. I'm not super consistent, but I'm going to be getting more consistent. And just hit subscribe and see if anything pops up on your timeline. But anyways, let's get back into the video. Currently, Jokic is 5th in points per game at 29, as we've already said. But he's 1st in rebound and 1st in assist. Yes, that is absolutely insane. There's really nothing else to say about it. To do this while also 5th in the NBA in scoring, while also a 77% true shooting clip. And it's not, like I said, he's not super hot by any means. In a couple games he's got hot, but for the most part, it's just because he's a smart, high IQ player, and he's doing what the team needs him to do, which is pass when he needs to pass and shoot when he needs to shoot. When you play the style of basketball he plays, it leads to efficient basketball because he can hit any shot. You've seen him hit crazy circus shots while getting fouled in the playoffs. He can hit those. But he's also super smart with his shot selection. It's great. And the next thing I want to talk about just real quick before the video wraps up is Nikola Jokic's biggest weakness, which is defense. The one crux you could use against him is, yeah, Nikola Jokic is great. He's the best player in the NBA, but Wembanyama could be better if he can polish up his offensive game because he's better at defense. And yes, Jokic will never be a great defender like Wembanyama. He will never even be an all-NBA level defender like a Marc Gasol was in his prime. But what Jokic is on defense is he's a smart defender. He's having his highest blocks and steals per game, stocks as you call it, at 2.5 so far this year. But those are stats that don't really matter in terms of defense. What Jokic does defensively is he begs the offense. He has a high IQ on defense too. He knows he's not going to be blocking tons of shots against athletic players, so he doesn't try to. What he does is he gives the offensive player a cushion to shoot. And what it makes the offensive player do is say, well, he's backing up on me. It makes it harder for them to get a closer shot, and Jokic plays the percentages. If he lets them get closer to the rim and shoot, they're going to hit more of the shots. So Jokic lets them shoot the little mid-range to close-range jumper on him or a close-range hook shot rather than trying to beat up on him and challenge him where they can beat him with their speed. He lets them take the softer shot, and then he out-rebounds them when they miss. And they're missing at a 40 to 50% clip because they're thinking in the back of their mind, why the hell am I wide open? You've heard that said across the NBA many a times. Sometimes it's harder to hit a wide-open shot, especially if you're being guarded and they're just leaving you open. It gets in your head sometimes, especially when the player isn't the best shooter. And that's all I'll say about Jokic's defense. He's no superstar, but people don't give him enough credit for the fact that he is 6'11", so he still does have an impact on the defensive end. He's the best defensive rebounder in the NBA, so he's stopping possessions from happening by not allowing offensive rebounds when he's on the court. So he is overall a positive defensive player. He's just not a superstar on defense, and people need one thing to pick apart on his game because outside of that, he has no weaknesses whatsoever. No free throw weakness, no three-point weakness, no passing weakness for sure. I would say he's the best passer ever. He's the best rebounder in the NBA today. So there's no weakness you can pick apart up against this guy. He doesn't shoot crazy shots like Kobe, which they used to criticize Kobe for. He only shoots good shots. He makes the right play more times than I've ever seen any NBA player make it. I watched the whole finals he was in, and I never once saw a player cut that was open that Jokic didn't hit. If you've watched basketball, you know while you're watching it's all the time that even good passers, you'll be like, wow, that guy was open. He didn't get him. But Jokic always gets the guy. He's playing to win, and that is why I love Nikola Jokic, and that's why I have Denver Nuggets predicted to win this NBA Finals. Look forward to more content, guys, and hit that subscribe button. Hop2345 out.